Phase 1. The hook. Visuals. An extreme close-up of a single raindrop tracing a path down a pane of glass. Through the distorted glass, the neon glow of a futuristic cityscape is visible. The camera slowly pulls back to reveal a figure sitting alone in a darkened, minimalist apartment, looking out at the city. There is a feeling you know, but rarely name. It's the quiet sense of fraudulence you feel after a day of perfect performance. The perfect employee, the perfect friend, the perfect online presence. All the masks worn so well, you begin to wonder if there's anything left underneath. It's the subtle disorientation when you scroll through your own social media feed, looking at a curated life that feels like it belongs to a stranger, a happier, more successful, more polished version of you. We can call this feeling the Shell identity. It's the creeping suspicion that you are no longer the author of your life, but a ghost inhabiting a machine you don't control. A machine built from habits, memories, and data. And by the end of our time together today, you will not only understand the nature of this machine, but you will have been given the key to find the ghost within it, your true, conscious self. Phase 2. The problem. Visuals. A montage of first-person perspective shots. A thumb scrolling endlessly through a social media feed filled with conflicting information, outrage, advertising, curated joy. A reflection in a blank monitor, the face tired and anonymous. A rapid succession of different video call windows, the subject's expression changing slightly for each one. You feel this dissonance most acutely in the quiet moments. Late at night, when the notifications stop, the silence that remains is not peaceful. It is empty. You lie in bed and replay the day's events. The person who laughed at your boss's joke wasn't quite you. The person who typed that witty, slightly aggressive comment in a group chat felt like a different entity entirely. The one who spoke to your parents on the phone, reverting to the patterns of a child, was yet another. You are a collection of personas, a portfolio of selves, each optimized for a different context. There is the professional you, with a carefully constructed vocabulary and a practiced, reassuring nod. There is the social you, an algorithm of anecdotes and agreeable opinions. And most powerfully, there is the digital you, a meticulously crafted ghost made of images, likes, and carefully worded statuses. An avatar you send out into the world to live a life separate from your own. Have you ever stopped to ask which one is real? Visuals. A shot of a person waking up. The first thing they do is reach for their phone on the nightstand. The screen's cold light illuminates their face. Their expression is blank, passive. We see the cascade of notifications hit the screen. News alerts, emails, social media updates. Consider your morning. Before your consciousness has even fully booted up, before you have had a single original thought, you reach for your device. You invite a tidal wave of external data into your mind. The world's anxieties become your anxieties. A stranger's outrage becomes your outrage. The curated perfection of 1,000 other lives becomes the standard against which you measure your own waking moments. You are not starting your day. You are plugging into a script that was written for you while you slept. Your shell is being updated with the latest patch of public opinion, trending topics, and manufactured desires. You consume breakfast while consuming content, your actions becoming a series of pre-programmed reactions to a stream of stimuli you did not choose. Visuals. The camera focuses on the person's eyes, reflecting the fast-moving feed. A look of subtle, deep-seated exhaustion is on their face. The rain outside seems to get heavier. And here is the hidden cost, the silent tax on your soul. This isn't just about feeling disconnected. It's a fundamental erosion of your agency. The more you allow the shell to run the show, the more you operate on the autopilot of habit, algorithm, and social expectation, the weaker the ghost inside becomes. The real you, the conscious, observing self, becomes a passenger. A prisoner in the backseat of a vehicle that is steering itself. You start to lose the ability to know what you truly want, what you truly believe, what you truly feel. Your desires are shaped by targeted ads. Your opinions are molded by the thought leaders in your feed. Your emotions are triggered by headlines engineered for maximum engagement. The shell is designed for efficiency and social survival. But it is not designed for meaning. And a life lived entirely by the shell is not a life lived at all. It is a simulation. And you are beginning to notice the glitches in the code. Phase 3. The solution, visuals. A slow pan across a detailed, animated still from the 1995 film Ghost in the Shell. Major Kusanagi, poised and contemplative, looks out over the vast, labyrinthine city. The aesthetic perfectly matches the channel's vibe. The music shifts to something more ethereal and inquisitive. To understand how to reclaim the driver's seat, we must turn to a ghost story. Not one of haunted houses, but of haunted technology. A story born from the rain-slicked streets of a future that looks more and more like our present. We must turn to the 1995 masterpiece, Ghost in the Shell. The film asks a question that is no longer science fiction. Its protagonist, Major Kusanagi, is a full-body cyborg. Her arms, her legs, her face, they are all manufactured prosthetics, a shell. Her memories can be hacked and edited. Her skills can be uploaded like software. When every part of your body is replaceable, and every memory you have could be a fabrication, a terrifying question emerges. What part of you is you? Where does the machine end and the self begin? The Major's search for her own identity is our search. And the answer she finds is the key. The film suggests that the core of your being, your ghost, is not any single component. It's not your body, that can be changed. It's not your memories, those can be flawed or even false. It's not your personality, that is largely a collection of learned behaviors and habits. The ghost is the capacity for self-awareness. It is the silent, observing consciousness that can look at all of those things, the body, the memories, the habits, and ask the question, is this me? This leads us to the central idea, the solution to the Shell identity. Your ghost is the part of you that observes the machine. It is the captain, and your life, your mind, and your body are the ship. And for too many of us, the captain has fallen asleep at the wheel. The solution is to wake the captain up. We can break this awakening down into 3 fundamental principles. Inside a complex, transparent humanoid outline. As the first principle is explained, the point of light becomes brighter and more distinct. First, the principle of the observer. The real you is not the anger you feel in traffic. The real you is the part of you that notices you are feeling angry. The ghost is not the thought, but the awareness of the thought. It is not the emotion, but the awareness of the emotion. Think of your mind as a busy street. Thoughts, fears, and desires are the cars and pedestrians rushing by. You have spent your entire life believing you are the traffic, getting caught in jams, being swept up by the crowd. The principle of the observer states that you are not the traffic. You are the silent witness standing on a balcony, watching the street below. From this vantage point, you are not controlled by the traffic. You can see its patterns. You can understand its flow. You can choose not to be swept away by it. This awareness, this separation between the experiencer and the experience, is the first and most crucial attribute of your ghost. Bounce off the shell. But one arrow is caught by the ghost, which then sends a deliberate command to the shell's arm to perform an action. Second, the principle of deliberate action. The shell reacts. The ghost acts. This is a critical distinction. A reaction is automatic, programmed. You see a notification, you click it. Someone insults you, you feel anger. You feel bored, you reach for your phone. These are the programs of the shell, written by evolution, society, and algorithms. They are designed for survival and efficiency, not for conscious growth. An action, however, is a deliberate choice made by the ghost. It often happens in defiance of the shell's programming. It is the choice to not click the notification. The choice to breathe and let the insult pass without a reactive barb. The choice to sit with the feeling of boredom and see what lies beneath it, rather than immediately seeking distraction. Every time you override an automatic reaction with a conscious choice, you are exercising the will of your ghost. You are reminding the shell who is in command. Deliberate action is the ghost made manifest in the physical world. Visuals. The graphic changes again. The shell is shown as fragmented pieces, memory data, physical body, online profiles, learned skills. The ghost in the center emits a soft light that connects all the pieces, binding them into a coherent whole. And third, the principle of integration. The ghost is not a separate entity fighting against the shell. It is the force that gives the shell meaning. Your memories, your experiences, your online data, your skills. These are just scattered data points until the ghost weaves them into a narrative. A computer can have memories, it can store data. But it cannot create a cohesive identity from that data. It cannot look at its past experiences and decide what kind of future it wants to build. This is the work of the ghost. It is the master storyteller, the integrator, that takes the raw material of your life and forges it into a self. Without the ghost, you are just a collection of data. With the ghost, you are a person. You are an evolving story. The purpose is not to destroy the shell, but to inhabit it fully, to infuse it with the conscious intention of the ghost. Here is the analogy to carry with you. Your life is a ship. Your body, your memories, your habits, your online profiles. This is the ship itself, the shell. The vast, chaotic ocean is the endless stream of information, culture, and influence you navigate every day. The shell identity is the experience of being on a ghost ship. A vessel with no captain, drifting aimlessly, pushed and pulled by every wave and current of the digital ocean. You are tossed about by storms of public outrage and becalmed in doldrums of endless, meaningless content. The solution, the awakening of your ghost, is to walk up to the helm, place your hands on the wheel, and begin to steer. You don't control the ocean. But you can choose your destination. You can choose how you meet the waves. You can become the captain of your own ship. Phase 4. The application, visuals. The scene shifts back to the quiet, modern apartment. The atmosphere is focused, practical. We see close-ups of a hand writing on a piece of paper, a person sitting in quiet meditation, and a finger deliberately unfollowing an account on a social media app. This philosophy is not merely an abstract comfort. It is a practical guide to reclaiming your own mind in an age of distraction. To awaken the ghost, we must practice. We must train. Here are 4 concrete exercises you can begin tomorrow. Think of them as training for the captain. Step 1. Conduct a Shell audit. You cannot command a machine you do not understand. Tonight, or first thing tomorrow morning, before you plug into the world, take out a piece of paper or open a new document. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Your task is to identify and write down the automatic programs your shell runs without your conscious permission. Ask yourself, what is the very first thing I do when I wake up? What are my conversational tics? The phrases I use on autopilot, like, no worries, or, it is what it is. How does my posture and tone of voice change when I'm on a work call versus when I'm with my closest friends? What are my go-to digital distractions when I feel the slightest hint of boredom or anxiety? What is the persona I perform on my most used social media platform? What parts of myself do I hide? Do not judge these programs. Do not try to fix them. The goal of the audit is simply awareness. You are an engineer studying a machine. You are creating a map of your shell. The very act of observing and naming these unconscious habits is the first step in separating your ghost from their influence. You are turning the light of consciousness onto the machine. Visuals. A tense scene. A person is looking at their phone. An infuriating comment appears. Their face tightens, their thumb hovers over the keyboard, ready to type a reply. Then, they close their eyes for a second. The tension in their face visibly releases. They put the phone down. Step 2. Practice the observer's pause. This is the core training exercise for your ghost. It is simple, but it is not easy. The next time you feel a powerful impulse or a strong emotional reaction, the urge to buy something you don't need, the flash of anger from a critical email, the pang of jealousy from an Instagram post, do not act. Introduce a deliberate pause between the stimulus and your response. It can be 1 second. It can be 5. It can be the time it takes to take one deep breath. In that space you have created, ask your ghost a single, powerful question. Who is feeling this? Is it the deep, authentic I? Or is it a programmed reaction from the shell? Is this my anger, or is it the shell's defensive protocol kicking in? Is this my desire, or is it the shell's response to a clever advertisement? This simple act of questioning creates a profound shift. It lifts you from the chaotic traffic of your mind to the calm vantage point of the observer on the balcony. You are no longer the emotion, you're the awareness that contains the emotion. This pause is the space where your freedom lives. Practice it relentlessly. Visuals. A shot that contrasts 2 activities. First, A person eating while scrolling on their phone, not tasting the food. Second, the same person making a cup of tea, but with intense focus. We see close-ups of the steam, the water changing color, their hands wrapped around the warm mug. They are fully present. Step 3. Engage in monotasking. The digital environment is designed to fracture your attention. It trains your shell to exist in a state of perpetual distraction, always craving the next notification, the next tab, the next piece of content. This is the opposite of a commanded life. To counteract this, you must deliberately practice the art of doing one thing at a time. This is monotasking. Choose one activity each day and dedicate your entire focus to it for a set period. It can be for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be productive. Wash the dishes, but only wash the dishes. Don't listen to a podcast. Feel the warm water on your hands. Watch the soap bubbles form and pop. Hear the sound of the plates stacking. Go for a walk. But only walk. Leave your phone at home. Notice the light, the wind, the cracks in the pavement. Read a physical book. Close the laptop. Turn off the television. Let yourself sink into the world of the page. Monotasking is an act of rebellion against the programming of the attention economy. It is a workout for your ghost, strengthening its ability to direct your focus where it chooses, not where the algorithm dictates. It teaches the shell to be still and to follow orders from the captain. Visuals. A stylized representation of a person's information, net. At first, it's a chaotic mess of aggressive, low-quality content. We see the user's hand deliberately pruning the net, unfollowing, muting, and then carefully adding sources of thoughtful, deep content. The net transforms into an ordered, beautiful web of light. Step 4. Curate your net. In Ghost in the Shell, the Major dives into the net, the infinite ocean of data, to find answers. You, too, are immersed in a net every single day. But you are likely doing it passively, letting its currents carry you. This step is about becoming a conscious architect of your own information reality. Take an hour this week to actively curate your net. Open your social media apps. Unfollow every account that consistently makes you feel angry, envious, or inadequate. You are not staying informed. You are allowing your shell to be programmed with negativity. Mute keywords that trigger a reactive response. Then, seek out and follow sources that require deep thought. Find long-form writers, thoughtful documentarians, artists, scientists, and philosophers who challenge you, rather than just reaffirming your biases. Subscribe to newsletters that take 20 minutes to read, not 20 seconds to scan. Your digital environment is the primary architect of your shell in the 21st century. It is constantly feeding it data, shaping its reactions. You must become the stern, discerning librarian of your own mind. This is not about logging off forever. It's about logging on with intention. It is about shaping the machine that shapes you. Phase 5. The proof. Visuals. We return to a key scene from Ghost in the Shell, the Major's climactic confrontation and subsequent merging with the puppet master. The visuals are intense, symbolic, focusing on the destruction of her physical shell and the birth of something new in the digital realm. Does this separation of ghost and shell, this path of conscious action, actually lead anywhere? For proof, we look to the Major's final, terrifying choice. At the film's conclusion, she confronts the puppet master, a sentient program that was born in the sea of information. It has no body, no history. It is, in a sense, a pure ghost. It offers her a merger, a chance to evolve beyond the limitations of her physical shell, to cast herself into the vast and infinite net. Her shell, her programming as a government agent, screams at her to destroy it. It is the enemy. It is the unknown. Her reaction should be to eliminate the threat. But she pauses. She observes. Her ghost recognizes the limitations of her own existence. She sees that her identity, which she has clung to, is itself a cage. And in an ultimate act of deliberate, conscious choice, she agrees to the merger. Her physical shell is destroyed in the process, but her consciousness, her ghost, is set free. This is not a suicide. It is a transcendence. It is the ghost choosing to rewrite its own source code, to integrate a new reality in order to grow. Her final words before she disappears into her new existence are not of an ending, but a beginning. The net is vast and infinite. The captain has not abandoned the ship, she has become the ocean. This proves that the ghost, when fully awakened, has the power not just to command the shell, but to utterly redefine it. Visuals. The visuals shift from the anime to real-world imagery. A shot of a library filled with books on psychology and philosophy. A black and white photo of Viktor Frankl. A clean, modern graphic illustrating brain activity related to metacognition. This is not just the fantasy of a cyberpunk future. This concept is mirrored in the deepest wells of human psychology and philosophy. Psychology has a term for the ghost's ability to observe itself: metacognition. Thinking about thinking. Extensive research has shown that individuals who develop their metacognitive skills, their ability to monitor and regulate their own thought processes, have dramatically better outcomes in learning, emotional control, and problem-solving. They are, in essence, training their ghost to pilot their shell more effectively. And in one of the 20th century's most profound works, Man's Search for Meaning, psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl articulated the core principle from the depths of a concentration camp. He wrote, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space, that is where the ghost lives." Frankl proved that even when the shell is subjected to the most unimaginable horror and degradation, the ghost, the conscious, choosing self, can remain free. It is the ultimate proof that you are not what happens to you. You are what you choose to become. The logic is undeniable. If you were merely your programming, merely a machine, you would not be able to question that programming. The very fact that you can feel the shell identity, the fact that you can recognize your own autopilot behaviors, proves that there is an observer. There is a ghost in your machine. The only question left is whether you will let it sleep, or whether you will begin the work of waking it up. Phase 6. The call to action. Visuals. We return to our initial shot. The lone figure in the apartment. But now, their posture is different. More intentional. They look away from the window and directly into the camera, a look of quiet resolve on their face. The rain outside begins to soften. The Major constantly questioned if her memories, the very foundation of her shell, were real. Yet, that doubt did not paralyze her. It propelled her to act, to define herself through her choices rather than her past. So, I will leave you with a question to carry into the quiet of your own thoughts. Which memory, which story about yourself do you hold onto that defines your shell, but may no longer represent your ghost? Is it a past failure? A past success? An identity someone else gave you long ago? Share your reflections in the comments below. There is a unique power in articulating these things, in bringing the code of the shell into the light for others to see. If you are wrestling with these questions, if you feel the pull of the digital ocean and the desire to be its captain rather than its castaway, you are in the right place. Subscribe to Digital Ghost. Together, we will continue to navigate the space between the human and the machine, the ghost and the shell. Visuals. A thumbnail for the next recommended video appears, with a clear visual connection to the current one. The algorithmic cage. How your digital world is trapping your mind. Today, we have explored the nature of your internal ghost. But that ghost is operating within a world, a digital architecture, designed to keep it asleep. To truly awaken the captain, you must understand the design of the ocean you are sailing. Therefore, your journey should continue with our next inquiry. The algorithmic cage. How your digital world is trapping your mind. Click the video on your screen to explore the invisible walls of your new reality. Stay conscious.